Welcome, everyone. We're here to explore how AI is actually changing WordPress, not in a hype-filled way, though what's already being built, shipped, and used today. AI isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's part of how we write content, manage hosting, and design sites. From content creation and SEO to personalization and automation, it's reshaping how WordPress teams work. I'm Jeff, and I head community, company, and client-owned open source at Fueled. Joining me here today are three people that are living the change of AI every day. Chris co-founded Extendify, an AI-powered WordPress solution for hosting providers. Arto leads 10Web and is building AI-powered automation for site creation. And Ben co-founded EX2, a WordPress-focused hosting brand based in Quebec. One of the biggest shifts we're seeing is how people find information online. Search used to be about Google. Now it's about tools like ChatGPT and Perplexity summarizing content, often without sending traffic back to your sites. WordPress VIP's AI-native white paper summed it up well. For decades, we built sites for Google, and now we're building them for AI. What does that mean for how we plan content, structure data, and measure for success? So, Arto, 10Web focuses on performance and optimization. How does AI change what optimization even means?
That's a great question. So I believe like agents are the answer. Optimization is a complex process. So if you have an agent do the optimization for you, optimizing the code, optimizing images, optimizing everything, I think at some point we'll get to the point that you get the full scale, fully optimized WordPress websites in an automated way. I know how close is that point, like probably in a year or two, we'll have that kind of agent doing the optimization for the website owner.
So Chris, Extendify works exclusively with web hosts. How do you see the role of hosters and domains changing in the future as people change how they find content online?
Yeah, so it's a topic of conversation I think that a lot of people are having is like, what is the future of the web, and what are the roles of hosting providers in that? And I think most people would agree that having a web presence will still make sense for most people in the future. So the question is, how do traditional hosting providers move beyond just providing infrastructure in a software that's installed on top of that, but really helping their customers be successful with whatever their goal is around presence? So I think there are a lot of unknowns, to your kind of point, Jeff, about like, what the future of web discovery will be, but staying on top of this and making sure that it goes, kind of your offering goes beyond just servers and really goes to help people solve whatever need they're trying to do is how they'll have to adapt. Yeah.
And Ben, you talk with a lot of WordPress users and agencies. What are you hearing about this shift? And from the context of a host provider, how does this shift toward AI-driven discovery affect the kind of tools and guidance you give to small business customers?
Yes, so as a host, I think what matters the most is customer success. And I think the way we can define customer success is for the customers basically to have a website, like a working website with whatever information they want to display. But at the end of that, they need to be, they need people to find them on Google or whatever search engine they're using. I think now with LLM, it's changing a little bit. Before they needed to focus on traditional SEO, which was very complex. They needed links, they needed keywords. And now it's changing a little bit as the way LLM works is a little different. You need a schema. You need to have websites that are a little bit more technically built for these LLMs. And the way hosts can help with that is that we can provide a technological feature that will help the clients to have a website that is ready for these models. So then when the models browse the web, you'll find all of their websites and display the content the user wants to. So I think we're going from a model that was a lot more hands-on to a model that maybe the host can help with by providing backend technology that will handle a lot of the SEO. So I think that's where we are going. And then again, what we really like the users, when we talk to users, what they want, they don't really care that much about the SEO. They don't want page rank. They just want their website to show up when someone look for whatever, a coffee shop at the corner of their streets. Yeah, and I think there's a big shift happening here.
Okay, so maybe it's less about chasing algorithms and more about making content that machines can understand while still keeping it meaningful for humans, for that corner coffee shop that you're looking for. So let's move on and talk about how the CMS itself is evolving. WordPress began as a publishing tool. It became a platform. Now it's moving toward being a smart orchestrator that helps you plan, produce, and distribute content intelligently. So Arto, 10web automates site creation from setup to launch. Commercial for that just before, if y'all saw. What's the next level of automation? Can you imagine full orchestration where AI runs most of the build process?
That's a great question. I still like a big believer in the future of WordPress, but we also see that AI now can write the code, right? It can create a lot of stuff for the users. And we got the idea, what if we bring the real code creation to WordPress? So we introduced a solution called Vibe Coding for WordPress. Like, think about it as like a front end is lovable or bold, and the backend is still runs on WordPress with these thousands of plugins, integrations, everything. We are not there yet. We are working on making the experience really to work for end users. But I think like WordPress is going to be there at least for next 10 years, maybe beyond. And if it's an ecosystem, work very hard and bring new technologies such as AI and other things to WordPress, it just will make WordPress more powerful and more sticky and more attractive for the new users.
So Chris, Extendify brings AI directly into the editing experience. How do you make that assistance feel useful and natural instead of another tool in the way?
So with Extendify, what we try to do is integrate it into the native WordPress experience as much as possible. So it's not designed to be a separate tool that just uses WordPress, but it feels natural, as if almost it was built into the platform itself. So wherever someone is, if they're on the front end of their site and looking to make a change, they can interact with our AI agent to help them make that change. If they're in the editor and are replacing an image, they can use AI image generation or smart search to find the right image for what they're trying to do. So our intention is to just make it feel like a cohesive experience that was AI first from the beginning, essentially.
So, and Ben, you run a hosting platform that's already bundling AI builders and assistants, like what Chris and Extendify use or provide. How do you see hosts and infrastructure providers contributing to that orchestration layer? Will the smart CMS also rely on a smart host behind the scenes?
So the shift also for the host is quite interesting. Maybe 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, every host main feature was a one-click WordPress install. So it was a selling feature. This is amazing. You can just install WordPress in one click. And that created a lot of, people started using this, but then they would get stuck once they install WordPress. And then every single host knows that we end up with thousands of blank WordPress that never evolved past the installation. And now we are almost at the point of that we are talking about one-click websites, where you just reply to a prompt, press click on create, and then you end up with a full-on WordPress site with images and text. And that's a huge change, obviously. It reduces user frictions. For the really first time, I think that's the main step towards reducing user friction. So that's huge for us to be able to offer that. And the advantage of WordPress over other website builders is like it's an open platform. So at the end, they are creating a website in one click, but they can move that website, they can change, they can edit the pages. So that put the host in a new position where we are almost the supplier of the website. And we can offer a website for free almost to the user with the hosting, which before we were just really a technological platform, or just an empty space where they would have to build their house. Now we can just give them the space and the house with it. So that's quite a change for the hosting companies as well.
Yeah, consumer expectations are changing, right? It's kind of what you're describing, right? You know, at one point, one-click install was enough, and that was a great feature, right? But now, people would be terribly disappointed if all you gave them was WordPress installed quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the last stage would be one-click sales. You basically go to the hosting company, and like it automatically sells your product to the end customer.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what they want, right? They want something that drives value for their business or their presence or whatever they're trying to do, right? They don't want a website, they don't want servers, they want something new.
Yeah, and there's also things like the WordPress AI team that's got shared tools they're working on, the Abilities API, the AI client. Those make some of these AI experiences a bit more plug and play, and that may be what connects all these individual efforts into something more cohesive for everyone. So AI also opens the door for personalization that goes beyond one-size-fits-all content. We can now adapt to each visitor, their needs, their behaviors, and at the same time, AI agents are starting to act more autonomously, doing things on our behalf. So Chris, today AI tools in WordPress largely respond to user prompts and requests. How do you see this evolving?
Yeah, so this is a shift. I mean, today, the classic like prompt box or chat window, right, where you can type in and ask AI to do something on your behalf is the most common experience. But over time, eventually, quickly here, I think, it's going to be shifting to be more proactive recommendations, right? So instead of saying, you know, being able to respond reactively to what the user is asking, it should do as many things automatically as it can on the user's behalf and give smart recommendations, really understanding like the goals and the context of that site or of that user, and recommend to them, and then hopefully do many of those tasks that are going to help them to achieve those goals. So.
Arto, 10Web already automates performance tuning. Do you see a path toward continuous optimization that adjusts in real time? Yeah. Do you see a path toward continuous optimization that adjusts in real time in terms of automating performance tuning?
Yeah, of course. Like, I think agents are coming everywhere. I think in next 10 years we will have agents for doing every kind of job, but now it's done by developers, engineers, designers, any knowledge worker work which is done for the, like, let's say for the websites, for any other web applications. I think it's gonna be automated. And
except for moderating a panel, though, right?
I'm not sure. My other company is actually building voice AI agents, which also can talk and can like sound very natural. So I think it's also coming to the panels. Unfortunately, sorry, Jeffrey.
Yeah, and there's an interesting difference too between a site owner's experience and having AI automate things for them, and then the platform, a host, and the automation behind the scenes there too. Ben, you see firsthand how small business owners and individuals use WordPress. And so from the host side, how do you balance giving them powerful personalization and automation tools while keeping things simple, transparent, and human?
Yeah, so that's also a bit of a shift here, where, I mean, we as a shared hosting company, we cater mostly to SMBs, and they don't have big budget to hire agencies to do marketing or SEOs. And I think with AI now, and we see it in WordPress with quite a handful of extensions, you can go quite deeply in personalization. So if you have, like, say, a business, you have some extension that would change the page and the blocks in the WordPress page according to the user. So if the user has been here before, it'll maybe give a special message or recommend something else. And this is something that was costing thousands of dollars before. Now it will be a click of a button. And so as a host, we need to be able to kind of filter this extension and provide, we are kind of the trust partner for the clients and provide the tools that we trust and we think will be valuable for the clients. And really, I see within the next few months or a year or so, the feature available to SMBs will be incredible at a super low cost. And I think that's good for hosts, that's good for the clients, and good for the internet as a whole. Because like before, most of the website from this SMB's website were very static and not really offering a good user experience. So that's good.
Yeah, so I think back, Chris, to what you were saying there at the beginning is it feels like maybe the real opportunity is letting AI handle that repetitive work and allow people to stay focused on ideas, storytelling, and connection. One other thing that comes up a lot, especially in WordPress, in the WordPress VIP white paper, is openness. The open web, open source, and now the idea of open AI and how that all impacts privacy. How do we keep innovating AI while staying transparent about data and ownership? Arto, 10Web runs both local and cloud AI systems. How do you think about privacy and user control?
That's a great question. So any code generated by 10Web AI is basically open source, and it's still like in WordPress, so user owns the code, right? I think it's super important for the community, for extended society, to keep up this open source trend, because it brings so many values and brings, so with decentralized power distribution, brings the right incentives to the businesses to own the code base and build the stuff that will really serve to the business needs. And this is like in the DNA of 10Web. So we basically will continue providing all our solutions in open source format.
Chris, Extendify works with web hosting companies from around the world with different privacy laws and expectations. How do you approach privacy to account for all of those differences?
Yeah, you're right. Like, there's kind of growing privacy awareness here in the U.S., but in other regions it's even stronger, and it's been part of the kind of technology DNA for years now in Europe and Germany in particular and other places. So what our approach has always been, we do not collect any personal information, essentially. So everything we're doing is at the website level, and so we use a lot of information about the website itself, the goals of that site, but the actual user interacting with the service, we don't need to know anything about them, right? We just need to know what their goals are for the website, and so that's been our approach to it, is essentially stay out of personal information as best we can and kind of actively avoid trying to capture it. And so, yeah, but it's still, it doesn't limit our ability to provide a good service in any way. It just changes how we approach. We're not just collecting every piece of information because we can. We only collect information if it's actually going to be useful for us. So.
And Ben, from your conversations in the community, how are people thinking about trust, transparency, and open source principles as AI becomes embedded?
Yes, so EX2 is based in Canada. Most of our clients are in France. So I think most of the users actually expect privacy for their data. That's just, it's very different than the view in the US. It just comes as something that they expect. And if we don't deliver that, then we lose their trust. So that's something we need to be very transparent with and upfront with. For example, if we offer some kind of ChatGPT plugin to our clients, like ChatGPT moves a lot of data, at least the basic version, through most of the world. They can send the data to the US. And the user, they don't have to know that, and most of the time they don't. So that's the host job to give them tools that we know will protect them. It's not the opposite. Like, it shouldn't come from the user to look for which AI do I need to use to make sure that my data is not going to go wherever outside of Europe. So that gives us also an opportunity to show that we are transparent, that we know the subject, and we are there to protect their rights. Hopefully, the US will also follow some kind of similar legislation. But yeah, I think for now, at least with Europe and Canada, we see similar trends. So it's relatively easy to follow the law.
So maybe the next step for open source isn't just sharing code, but also being open about how our AI systems work and what data powers them. We've covered a lot today, from how AI changes discovery and workflows to what it means for openness and creativity. AI isn't replacing creators or developers. It's given us new ways to build and create. As long as we keep WordPress open, transparent, and human-centered, we'll keep shaping the web in ways that matter. Thank you, Chris, Arto, Ben. Y'all have a good day.